Degenhart. She is the teacher for our city choir. And today we're going to be talking about mental health and how music can affect our mental health. So, one of the questions that I want to ask you is for one, when you hear music, what does music mean to you? Like, initially when you first hear it?
Well, I guess it depends. When I first hear a song, um, I don't usually like it based off the artist or by the name or by anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all dependent on a couple things. Sometimes I like it because of the lyrics. Sometimes a song will simply just grab my attention based on the chord progression in the first couple measures or seconds of the song. Because it, to me, depending on the words or the chords that the composer chooses to use, it evokes a certain type of emotion that I feel, or I'm drawn to it in some way because of if it sounds pretty or if the words I can relate to or connect with.
Yeah. Another thing I want to ask is, why do you think that music is a common form of coping when, like when you're stressed out, some people like to turn to music to de-stress, unstress. So, do you think that music is one of the ways, or why do you think that music is one of the ways we use it as coping?
I think that music is something that people use to cope with because it's not, there's no black and white to it.
Right.
There's so many different genres and subgenres or combination of genres that when people choose to listen to a certain song, they're choosing something that they identify with, that is calming to them, that that they can relate to and understand when they might be feeling in a world of chaos outside, or maybe they're struggling with something they don't understand or can grapple with that's new, and so they want to turn to something that's familiar, that they feel safe with. It also it's also a universal thing. It's something we learn when we're little. It's something that are in other countries. So people who maybe might not speak another language, if we have a lot of students that are English is their second language, it's something that maybe they can turn to feel familiar with and not have to be like in the language that they're of the school that they're attending.
Yeah, I know for me, like when I'm listening to music, I typically, or when I'm going through a hard time, I like to listen to music, and I know for me, it feels really good to listen to music that you can relate to, be like, okay, so I'm not alone, or they feel the same way I do.
Or sometimes, like, if it's a sad song for me, and I just want to feel sad, I'll just play that song just to, like, force myself to feel those emotions, because sometimes you just have to, if it's like anxiety and it's building up, sometimes you have to, like, let that release in a different emotion, or in a different form, and music can kind of help get you through that little patch and then bring you back to a different side.
Yeah, so also, when listening to music, is there, like when you're listening to music and you can feel the music in your body.
Yeah.
Is there a certain part of your body that you just always feel connected towards when you're listening to music, or how does listening to a song, does it affect your body in any vibrationally way?
So I think it's because I'm a piano player, but I'm constantly tapping my foot, constantly moving my foot, even when I'm conducting. It's just like a part of me, and I think even when I'm conducting too, I tend to move my body with the downbeat. It just helps me feel grounded a little bit more, and that's just for me. Some people, like younger kids, tend to feel music a little faster instead of the big beat like older kids do.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they're just so like wound up and they're ready to go and energy, and sometimes you feel that and sometimes you're tired and you just feel that bigger beat. So for me, I'm an older person and I am usually feeling the bigger beat, but it can obviously change.
Okay, and then the last question is, I've asked everyone this, but what are some of your favorite albums of like all time that you've listened to?
Oh gosh. Okay. So I'm going to give me
your top 3.
I'm gonna give you
Top 5.
top. I don't have. Oh, see, that's really albums are hard. I'll give you 5. I'll give you. To me, people is different genres that have completely shaped the way I look at things. Number 1, J. Cole. I love J. Cole. His Forest Hills album, I know every single word. It was one of his best albums.
Best albums.
I love him from I love J. Cole. Another artist that I like, I'm going to give you different genres because there's for EDM, Subtronics. He is my number 1. I love him. Every time he does something wonderful, I love it. For theater or contemporary music, Audra McDonald. First off, she's one of the first African American women to win a Tony Award, and she's such a wonderful singer. She does a really great job at like mixing her chest voice with her head voice and her theater voice. She's great. Destiny's Child. It was my first CD growing up, and I just love Destiny's Child. Yep. And of course, it's Queen Bee, How Can You Not Love Beyonce. And oh man, I guess for my 5th. I'd have to go, and I know this is crazy, but I loved Britney Spears growing up. That was a huge, like, formative years in my 5th grade, 4th grade time.
Yeah, she definitely gets you that confidence boost.
It's just, I mean, there's so many great artists, but, like, if you think about, like, not albums, but, like, artists that have kind of, like, shaped your...
Taste in music.
Taste and how you grew up, and, like, it... kind of goes back to this, like, it's nostalgic.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that I listen to, oh baby, like, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it takes me back to 4th grade, and I'm like, I love that song, and all the music videos I used to watch. Yeah.